Hello everyone. Today we are going to study the French Revolution. Let's dive into an exciting journey through history, exploring the French Revolution, a pivotal event that changed the course of human history. Imagine a world where the quest for equality and freedom sparked a movement so powerful that it reshaped an entire nation. Ready? Let's begin. In 1789, a remarkable event unfolded, forever marking its significance in human history. The French Revolution was not just any event. It wiped out the old political system, got rid of the French monarchy, and paved the way for a fairer society and a government that's accountable to the people. This monumental change started with an event known as the storming of Bastille on July 14, 1789, and continued until a man named Napoleon Bonaparte rose to power. This period showed the world the power of the people's will. Now, let's take a step back and see what French society looked like before all these dramatic changes. Imagine living in a world where your social status and rights were decided the moment you were born. That was the reality in France before the revolution. The society was known as the Old Regime, and was divided into three parts, or estates. The first estate, made up of the clergy, who didn't pay taxes. The second estate, consisting of the nobility, also tax-exempt and holding feudal privileges. The third estate included everyone else, from businessmen and merchants to peasants and laborers. This division created a huge imbalance, with the third estate bearing the brunt of financial hardships. But life was getting tougher for the people, especially for those in the third estate. Let's look at their struggles. The population was growing, and so was the demand for food. Unfortunately, food production couldn't keep up, leading to sky-high bread prices. With wages staying low, the gap between the rich and poor widened even more. To make matters worse, droughts and hail damaged crops, worsening living conditions. As struggles continued, a new class began to emerge, envisioning a different future. Let's see who they were and what they wanted. A growing middle class envisions change. Peasants were fed up with taxes and food shortages and started to revolt. A middle class emerged, prospering through trade and manufacturing. This group had access to education and new ideas, believing social position should be based on merit, not birth. Philosophers like Rousseau and Montesquieu started to propose new forms of government. These new ideas didn't come out of nowhere. Some thinkers played a huge part in shaping them. Charles Montesquieu, a nobleman turned lawyer who advocated for a constitutional monarchy and popularized the idea of separating powers within the government. In a constitutional monarchy, a king or queen exists, but their power is limited by a constitution that outlines the rules for governing the country. Francis Aronet Voltaire emphasized material life over religious focus and criticized the church's treatment of the poor. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, known as the architect of the French Revolution, introduced the concept of the social contract and believed in the right to rebel against rulers who didn't fulfill their part of the contract. Political thinker John Locke wrote against the divine right of monarchs, promoting government accountability to the people. With the stage set by these ideas, the revolution began to unfold. On May 5, 1789, King Louis XVI called for an assembly of the Estates General to discuss proposals for new taxes. The Estates General was a political body consisting of representatives from the three estates: clergy, nobility, and the common people, third estate. Each estate had one vote, but the first and second estates, consisting of the clergy and nobility, had a combined 600 representatives, while the third estate had 600 representatives. Peasants, artisans, and women were excluded from the assembly. New taxes could only be proposed if approved by the Estates General, and since the clergy and nobility were exempt from taxes, it was expected that they would approve the king's tax proposals. This unfairness led to a significant event that showed the people's refusal to be ignored. The Tennis Court Oath. After being denied equal representation, the Third Estate representatives took a bold step. The Third Estate representatives demanded that voting be conducted by the entire assembly, where each member would have one vote. When King Louis XVI rejected this proposal, the Third Estate representatives walked out of the assembly in protest. On June 20, 1789, these representatives gathered in the indoor tennis court at Versailles. They declared themselves the National Assembly and vowed not to disperse until they had drafted a constitution that would limit the powers of the monarch. This demand for change led to a dramatic and symbolic act: storming of the Bastille. By July 14, 1789, Paris was boiling over with tension. A severe winter, a bad harvest, and soaring bread prices had pushed the population to the brink. Rumors that the army would fire upon citizens led to an uprising. Thousands sought arms to defend themselves, targeting the Bastille, a fortress prison symbolizing the king's power. This event became a symbol of the revolution, marking the beginning of the end for the monarchy. As the revolution gained momentum, significant changes began to take shape. France becomes a constitutional monarchy. By 1791, the National Assembly had completed a constitution, transforming France into a constitutional monarchy. This new government structure divided power among different branches, ensuring a more balanced and fair system. The Constitution of 1791 was a groundbreaking document, establishing natural and inalienable rights such as liberty, property, and equality before the law. These changes were grounded in a powerful declaration: the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen. This declaration emphasized individual rights and the sovereignty of the nation. It stated that laws should protect society and individual rights, allowing for the participation of citizens in forming laws. This was a radical shift from the old system, promoting liberty, equality, and the idea that taxes should be assessed equally according to one's means. Property was considered a sacred right, and freedom of speech was protected. Déclaration des droits de l'homme et du citoyen. Symbols played a huge role in spreading the message of the revolution. The declaration used various symbols to convey its principles, making it accessible to a largely illiterate population. The broken chain symbolized freedom, while the bundle of rods represented unity and strength. The eye within a triangle symbolized knowledge dispelling ignorance, and various other symbols like the red cap and the colors blue, white, and red represented the national colors of France, freedom, and equality under the law. But the revolution's journey was far from over. Despite signing the constitution, King Louis XVI's secret negotiations with foreign monarchs led to a declaration of war against Prussia and Austria. This war, combined with economic difficulties and the influence of political clubs like the Jacobins, set the stage for the next phase of the revolution. In the summer of 1792, the Jacobins led an insurrection, culminating in the abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of the French Republic on September 21, 1792. Louis XVI was put on trial for treason and sentenced to death. He was executed publicly on January 21, 1793, at the Place de la Concorde. The revolution had its dark moments as well. From 1793 to 1794, France experienced the Reign of Terror, a period of extreme violence and suppression. Maximilien Robespierre, a key figure during this time, implemented strict control measures, leading to the arrest and execution of thousands. This period highlighted the dangers of radicalism, eventually leading to Robespierre's own downfall. After the chaos of the Terror, a new government emerged. Following the end of the Reign of Terror, a new constitution was created by an elected convention. This constitution established a republican form of government with a legislature and an executive body called the Directory. The Directory consisted of 5 members. Political instability during the Directory era eventually paved the way for the rise of military dictator Napoleon Bonaparte. Women also played a crucial role in the revolution. Women from the Third Estate, who faced significant hardships, actively participated in the revolution. They started political clubs and newspapers, advocating for political rights. Although the Reign of Terror saw a crackdown on their activities, their fight laid the groundwork for future movements, leading to French women gaining the right to vote in 1946. The revolution also addressed the issue of slavery. The French Revolution brought the issue of slavery to the forefront, leading to heated debates in the Constituent Assembly. While initial efforts did not end slavery, the convention finally abolished it in the French colonies on February 4, 1794. However, this decree was revoked by Napoleon in 1802, and it wasn't until 1848 that slavery was fully abolished in the French colonies. The revolution changed everyday life in France. The summer of 1789 saw significant changes in the lives of French citizens. Censorship was abolished, and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression. This newfound freedom allowed for a vibrant cultural scene, with plays, songs, and processions drawing large crowds. As we approach the end of our journey through the French Revolution, let's look at one of its most famous figures. Conclusion: the rise and fall of Napoleon. In 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte declared himself Emperor of France, marking a new chapter in French history. His reign saw significant legal reforms and conquests across Europe. However, as his armies were increasingly viewed as invaders rather than liberators, this period foreshadowed the eventual fall of Napoleon's empire. We hope that you have understood the topic. You can now study chapter notes, watch video lectures and solve MCQ tests of this chapter on EduRev to ensure you score well in your school exams. And that's not all. You also get amazing courses for maths, science, English, Hindi, and much more for class 9. Thank you.